Some people are born gifted. I was born underestimated. I still hear their voices. You're just average. You'll never make it. Lower your expectations. The first time I truly felt worthless, I was 16 years old. I stood in front of my teacher, gripping my test paper. 52%. The ink was still drying on the red marks that bled all over my answers. She didn't look angry. She didn't look disappointed. She looked indifferent, like she had seen my kind before. Like she already knew how my life would turn out. Not everyone is meant for success. You should aim for something realistic. Those words, they hit harder than any slap. I turned to my friends, hoping for some support. Instead, they smirked, whispered. One even chuckled under his breath. My parents? They meant well, but their silence spoke volumes. Maybe she's right. Maybe you should just accept who you are. That was the moment I realized I was alone in this. But what they didn't know was that they had just made the biggest mistake of their lives. That night, I sat in my room staring at my reflection. My hands clenched into fists. My heart pounded in my ears. I had two choices. 1. Accept their version of me. 2. Rewrite my story. I grabbed an old dusty notebook and wrote 3 words in bold letters. Prove them wrong. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, but I knew I would. At first, it was hell. I woke up at 4 a.m. every day while the world slept. I read everything. Business, psychology, success stories, failure stories. I trained my mind like a soldier trains for war, but the world? It didn't care. My teacher still dismissed me. My friends mocked me even more. My parents begged me to be practical. I failed. Again, and again, and again. My first business? A disaster. My first job application? Instant rejection. My first speech? I stuttered so badly the audience laughed. But here's the thing about failure. It only owns you if you let it. I didn't let it. Fast forward 5 years. I had no degree, no connections, no safety net. But I had something stronger. I had built an empire in the shadows. While they laughed, I worked. While they slept, I became unstoppable. Then one day, my old teacher sent me an email. I saw your success story. Unbelievable. I always knew you had potential. My friends? The same ones who once mocked me? Hey bro, we should catch up. Man, you're killing it. Give me some tips. And my parents? The day I showed them my bank account, they didn't speak. They just sat there, stunned. Then my father whispered, "We were wrong." But the best part? I wasn't done yet. One day I walked back into my old school. Everything looked smaller. The walls, the hallways, the desks. But I had never felt bigger. And then I saw her. The teacher who said I wouldn't make it. She saw me too. Her eyes widened. "You?" she stammered. I smiled. Not with anger, not with arrogance, but with power. "Not everyone is meant to be successful, right?" I said. Guess I was the exception. I turned around and walked out. For the last time. Listen, if they doubt you, let them. If they laugh, let them. If they bet against you, prove them wrong so badly that they never bet against anyone again. I wasn't born a genius. I wasn't born lucky. I wasn't born rich. But I was born with something no one saw coming. A fire that no one could put out. And so were you. The world doesn't owe you anything, but you? You owe it to yourself to become so unstoppable that even the people who doubted you start telling your story. Screen fades to black. Final words appear. Who's laughing now? Title: Who's laughing now? On screen text. Music swells. The video ends.